Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Highway to the Zemus Zone League qualifiers. This is qualifier match 2. I am your commentator, Khobahi, joined by TowerSheep here.
Hello, everyone.
Today we have a nice race with it looks like about 44 entrants. We have 4 great runners here for you today. We have PixelTamer, Rumblefish82, Drcossack, and MoonBlazeWolf. And it looks like we have a Kane start. So this is a randomizer of Final Fantasy IV for anyone that doesn't know. What it's generally going to do is random characters, random bosses, random treasures, and then the goal is still to beat Zeromus, but it's going to be a little different than your normal run in Final Fantasy IV. So as we're just waiting for the rest of the runners to get ready, we can kind of explain a little bit of what we're doing here and what some of these flags that you see on the screen are kind of going to do. So we have V1, which is one of the major changes between this and the last league. The V1 requires you to get the adamant and the Excalibur to forge the crystal you need to turn Zeromus into his second form, and that will allow you to actually do damage to him. We have the JIA, which is Japanese items, and I believe it's abilities. As you see, we are on our way. We start with Kane. We're also getting ourselves a Palom here and a nice Excalibur that, nobody can use right now. Do you want to explain about the, basically, treasures and bosses, like randomization, Tower?
Sure. So the bosses are all going to be in sorted random locations where you don't know what boss you're going to get in what spot. And if you look at I'm sorry, I should have familiarized myself with the flag set a little bit more.
Yeah, we're running basically any spot can have any boss. The bosses will be scaled to a point of where the boss initial location is. So, something from the end game in the first spot's not going to have all its life and stat. But as we do see, our runners are kind of doing some initial checks. We have 3 of our runners going into the town of Baron looking for items, whereas it looks like Rumblefish has decided to go straight to the Damsian treasury to grab a whole bunch of items. And as you can see, these items are anything Wizard Robes, Gaia Drums, which are those Japanese items. Cast the Quake spell can be very useful. So they're going to be looking for things to power up their party and allow them to get through some of these boss locations.
It looks like the other 3 runners have decided to do a standard Baron open, and they are seemingly finding not too much usable right now, except for someone seems to have found a Zeus Gauntlet, which will be extremely handy, as that's one of the stronger items in the game, especially with Kane in your party. That's going to be a fantastic item to have.
Yeah, Zeus Gauntlet, Crystal Armors are good for selling. I think I saw a Heroine Robe, which could be useful if they get a decent female character to throw that on for some damage. We do have Rumblefish being the first one entering a dungeon in the Antlion Cave. This will get him a whole bunch of treasures and a chance at one of those boss spots with a key item. So the key items also randomized, obviously. So normally in here, you come fight the Antlion, you find yourself the Sand Ruby, which lets you get Rosa. However, that's not going to be the case here. He's going to find himself a random boss, get a random key item that hopefully brings him to some progression.
Yeah, I see that Drcossack and anyone else who decide to visit Mist has found a crystal helmet, and that can be important because even if they don't find Cecil, that is worth a lot of money, and there are some important items they're going to want to buy depending on how this seed plays out. So having that very expensive item will end up helping them one way or another.
We also see Drcossack is in the village of Kaipo. He did check the Rose's bed, which does have Sid sleeping there. So if the Sand Ruby is available, they will be able to pick up Sid if they care. I mean, he's a weaker physical. He starts off stronger, but a weaker later physical and a slow character.
Rumblefish appears to be the first one going after, looks like one of the Mylons. Yep, it's the default Mylon with his zombie ghoul friends. Using the Gaia drum straight off just to do that heavy damage, as Khobahi mentioned earlier, get rid of pretty much the entire boss fight since the antlion is a low HP spot. It's just one item, just clears everything right out.
Definitely a very useful item and took care of that boss. I mean, that spot has about 1,000 health shared. And he gets himself a tower key. Useful once they get to the underground. However, right now, not the most useful thing in the world.
Yeah, they're probably hoping for something a little bit more productive, maybe opening up a couple more paths. Right now, they don't have too many options, and looks like we may get to see one of my favorite plays, which is going up to Mount Ordeals, which I know so many runners don't like.
As for the character flags, tonight we are running with restriction to Edge and Fusaya, so they're going to be trapped behind some sort of key item. And characters are not guaranteed, so there are some characters that just might not exist in this flag set, and going to be possibly getting some duplicates of some characters. We'll see what they end up with for their team by the end.
Seems Rumble has made his way over to Fabul and is selling off some of his more expensive items to get some equipment, because he is likely going to try to defend Fabul right now, and that opens up one key item for him after he fights the boss yet to be seen.
Yeah, we do have MoonBlazeWolf picking up their tower key, taking care of Mylon, Pixel entering the fight, and Drcossack not that far behind. Now, it does look like a lot of our runners are skipping the Mount Hobbs check. Mount Hobbs would get you another character with a boss fight, but no key items. Looks like people are just deciding Kain and Palom are good enough for now. They are two very good characters to start with, so it's a little understandable. And we may see some...
The interesting thing about the Mount Hobbs is right now the Hobbs flag is on. And that's going to let you, if you have Rydia, she can go to the front of it and get a random spell or summon. So you don't know what you're going to get, but it's going to be one of the Japanese summons most likely. So your Mage, your Bomb, your Patrice. So the runners will probably not do that, but that flag is on should they decide that's the route they want to go.
Yeah, and we do have MoonBlazeWolf checking that Mount Hobbs. It is another Kain, which actually is really nice. The Mega Sisters are here and gonna have to deal with them before he can leave with that game. We also have Rumblefish finding Kainazo in Fabul. Kainazo can be an interesting boss. Luckily in this spot it's not going to be too hard, but in some of the higher HP spots he can be a very nasty boss. But with a Black Mage and Kain, he's doing all right.
Yeah, Kainazo is weak to lightning, but you have to be careful because he will become weak to ice once he's in his shell, as you see Rumblefish using that once he pops into his shell to try to do a little extra damage to take him down before he starts casting his wave.
Yeah, we do have Drcossack and PixelTamer picking up their tower keys and leaving Rumblefish, taking out Kainazo, not much trouble. He's actually weak to lightning surrounded by water. Any other time he's weak to ice. These Mega Sisters are proving to be a little bit of a pain point for Moonblaze here, but... Oh, Rumblefish getting the Legend Sword from the King of Fabul. That is one of the two items we do need for the Crystal Forge, so... Already halfway to that crystal, although he still needs access to the moon and the underground to be able to forge that and get to the final boss.
Seems MoonBlaze is still fighting off Cynthia. He has taken the sisters down, thankfully. He seems to be leaving now with his extra Kain. Before he dips out, though, he's checking just one chest. He's not going to go down and check all the chests, which he's a smart move because he does not currently have anyone with an exit spell nor the exit item to get out of there quickly.
Correct. And we do have, it looks like Drcossack and PixelTamer fighting these as well, both using these Japanese items to good use to take them out pretty quick.
Rumblefish has gone into, the name of the town escapes me at the moment. It is the town with all of the transformed individuals to grab a whole bunch of just random item checks, hope and find something good. Seems to have found some Dragoon armor, which would be fantastic considering he's got Cane.
Yeah, that'd be very useful. Although it looks like at the moment he has a dancing dagger on his cane, so he is going to be hoping for probably a better weapon sometime soon, but for now he can make do with the dancing dagger.
And Dr. Corsac has moved on to Fabul to fight Kainazo. He will hopefully get through this without too much of an issue, considering he has both Canes.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't going to be too much of a problem for the runners. Especially with having a Black Mage, they can sit on lightning spells to stop the wave. So we'll see how they fare against these Kainazos. As it looks like Rumblefish has decided to do a little more looting, shopping to kind of get him through the next little bit. He does find hourglasses and star veils, both very useful items. Find some exits too. So a lot of these items, you know, you've probably never seen before. We've mentioned the Japanese items, but they do all sorts of things from cast spells. Well, they all cast spells, but they cast various attack spells. Hourglasses cast stop. Star veils can cast wall, and exits obviously cast the exit spell.
It would seem that there's just a little bit of everyone's favorite inventory management going on multiple racers. Rumblefish and Pixel are trying to clear out all the items they have that they just want to sell so they could buy things. Important to know that, as you mentioned, hourglasses will cast stop, but as you see on Rumblefish's screen, there's hourglass 2, and there's also an hourglass 3. That changes the length of time the stop spell is applied to the enemy. So it can make a big difference if you're stopping someone but still struggling to get that DPS out.
Yeah. Normally hourglass 1 or 2s are good enough. The 3s get pretty expensive, especially early game here where they're looking to find everything they need. Although we do have Pixel and Drcossack and Moonblaze taking care of Kainazo, so they're all about to receive their legend swords and be halfway to that crystal. It'll be interesting to see what people decide to do next. The few checks left being Mount Ordeals, which has 3 bosses for 1 key item. A lot of people like skipping it. The Baron Inn is still available. I didn't quite catch who was in the Baron Inn before, but you can only see one of the 2 boss spots when you do initially check it. And then there's always Mist Dragon checks. Why is Mist Dragon important?
So Mist Dragon is a rather interesting fellow who, since this is a randomizer, is no one knows exactly where he's going to appear, but by killing him in the vanilla game, you cause Rydia's mother to die as well. And in this flag set, Rydia's mother is holding a key item. So if they could kill the Mist Dragon, they will end up with a item back in the village of Mist.
Exactly, yeah. And he could be hiding in his vanilla spot or Octomom spot. Again, random, so they could be anywhere. Does look like we have everyone kind of hitting up some more shops. A couple people in Silvara, Rumblefish, and Mist.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like the Mist maybe an Octomam spot, just taking a little shower while he's down there.
Oh, it's quite possible, and it's maybe not on the forefront of everyone's mind to check something like that, although it looks like Rumblefish has decided it's time to loot Baron. Oh, we did see Edward with a lunar bomb.
Is it? If it wasn't a key item, I don't think that'd be worth it.
Definitely not. And yeah, that little star sparkle for the boss means it can be any of the lunar subterranean bosses minus Zeromus himself, so it could be something a little tricky, although that spot has very minimal health.
Yeah, and you also don't know who's behind him. He could end up with another lunar boss behind him, or it could be the Baron guards. So it's a big mystery who's behind him, and that could make a decision of, well, do I take out an easy lunar boss and risk whoever could be behind him, or do I go check a couple boss spots like the Octobomb spot and the Mist Dragon's normal spot, which is all in the same relative area, and hope to find that Mist Dragon.
Definitely, and these runners are kind of running into that state right now where they have to make that decision of where they're going next. Although it looks like PixelTamer has decided that this lunar boss in the Baron Inn is the Plague. It's Plague, so luckily this is going to be a really easy first fight.
Low HP and a guy who does not actually attack you. He just casts death and waits 10 ticks until you automatically die. But being as a spot has very low HP, as mentioned, he's easily cleaned up.
And Vipaya is the Valveless fight, which, interestingly enough, we have 2 canes to stop the spin.
Yeah, her spin will actually make it harder to hit her with magic, but with 2 canes, you have to jump on her, and that will end up taking her out of her spin, which is when her hair gets wrapped around her. So this should not be an issue, as normally there's only 1 cane to stop the spin.
Exactly. This spot is about 4,000 health. He's doing quite a bit of damage pretty fast, and, well, she can do a little bit of damage, but luckily this spot isn't too fast itself. We do have MoonBlazeWolf deciding to make that Ordeals run, so we will see what happens here, and we'll see what PixelTamer will pick up from this fight, along with his Edward.
The Darkness Crystal. Well, we have moon access now, so that is a huge deal, because that means they need one more item to forge the crystal, and then 2 more items, because they need access to the underground as well.
That's correct. Yeah, it looks like our first fight on Mount Ordeals is these Dark Imps, and we see Moonblaze throwing one of those hourglass items. These are one of those bosses that do not actually have the boss bit, so you can just kind of do whatever you want to them to get rid of them.
Now the question is going to be, do you think Pixel is going to... Looks like he's actually going right for the moon, which is going to make some interesting checks, because those moon bosses are going to be a lot harder at such a low level, but with some of the items he was picking up, such as hourglasses, maybe he's hoping to find someone who isn't as much of a challenge, like maybe the Baron Guards.
It's also quite possible he may just be doing this for the character check, which could be either Fusaya or Edge being a decent, trap behind a key item character, and another shop check, not feeling comfortable doing maybe Mount Ordeals right away with the characters that he had. But we'll see where he ends up after this. Moonblaze has taken care of those Dark Imps, so we'll see what is in the back of the bridge, trying to throw us in the deep ravine.
And Drcossack appears to also be fighting Valvalis, and one of his canes has died. I missed how that happened.
I mean, this spot has a decent physical value, and he doesn't have many levels, so, taking a hit from the Valvalis if you don't have armor on is going to do a decent amount of damage. Although, MoonBlazeWolf has found Water Hag on the back of the bridge. This is another one. This is one of those scripted fights. You need to hit him 3 times, and he just kind of falls over.
He does tend to hit hard if you're not careful, so getting him in a back attack spot probably works for the better, because it's just that 3 hit. It's just those 3 hits and he goes down, so he's not going to be hitting you too hard.
Yeah, it looks like Pixel did take a quick glance at that moon shop. There wasn't anything really good in there, so looks like he's off to the Lunar Palace to find his character. Drcossack has defeated Valvalis, getting his Darkness Crystal. We'll see what he decides to do after this, while the other Rumblefish and MoonBlazeWolf are making their way through these Ordeals fights.
Ooh, it is an Edge on the moon. That is a very physical, heavy team they have.
Definitely. He's probably really happy he went up to the moon now. Edge is a very strong character, very fast as well, so.
He will definitely make short work of some of the early game bosses, so this will make his Ordeals fights go probably a little faster than Moonblazes, and Rumblefishes.
Yeah,
And it looks like Dr. Corsack is also on his way up to the moon to go pick up an edge and look at the shops.
Yeah, and we did get the hook on Mount Ordeals, so we do have quite potentially a hook seed. There's a couple spots they could check, or they could look on for the Magma Key on the moon, but it looks like they will be taking the hook route, most likely to the underground. So what this entitles is they will need to pick up the hovercraft and go through the Eblon Cave, where you normally find Edge, and fight through the King, Queen, Eblon, and Rubicante spots to get to the underground. These can be a little tricky spots, though there is another character on the way, and with 2 Canes, Palom, Edge for a couple of our runners, it could be done quite easily sometimes, depending on bosses.
I'm sure they're also all kind of praying for a white mage. They've got a lot of damage, but they do not have heals right now, and that can be scary, especially later on, going to the moon without any heals. It's gonna be interesting to see what they get.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see if either Rumble or Moonblaze will do the Baron in play now to get the Darkness Crystal, and if they decide to go check that moon character as well, or just decide it's time to go through with the hook. Does look like Dr. Cossack, did he check the character? I'm not sure if he did that first, but I would assume he would have going up to the moon.
I believe I saw him go in there, but I'll admit I got distracted by all the fighting.
Bumblefish receiving his hook, fighting this pale dim spot. This spot has 1,000 HP, so it's fairly easy. Looks like Dr. Cossack is on his way back to the moon, so I'm guessing he might have hit that crystal by accident, meaning to pilot the ship again, but he's making his way back and is going to pick up his edge now.
Looks like Moonblaze is about to go get his edge and his darkness crystal. He's just fighting Plague right now.
He gets Edward first. We'll have to see if he decides to go get edge.
Dude.
Yeah, Dr. Cossack now has picked up his edge on the moon. I'm going to guess he's probably going to make his way back down to the planet and probably make the same Ordeals plays that everyone else seems to have made to get their hook.
Yes, this does seem like it's shaping up to be a hook seed, because I don't think too many of them are going to go hunting for a Mist Dragon otherwise.
I guess as we have kind of people hitting up some of the spots everyone else has hit, I'll remind everyone again, this is the Highway to the Zemus Only qualifier. If you haven't seen the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Randomizer before, you can find all the information on FF4FE.com. There's a link to a Discord if you want to do any races or just talk with people about it. There's plenty of space to do that. So.
Moonblaze has just gotten both his Edward and the Darkness Crystal, and it looks like Rumble's going up to release his hovercraft so that he can make use of that hook.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Rumble has not even done the Baron in yet to get his Darkness Crystal, so we'll see what path he decides to take here, and if he's just going straight for that hook play, where Dr. Cossack has come back and is making that Ordeals plays as expected. It does look like Moonblaze is grabbing his hovercraft now. Might skip the moon check for that edge. We'll see if that works out for them. So. The qualifiers, this is the second of 6. The last one would be the 21st of July. There's another one Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Next Wednesday at 7 p.m., next Saturday at 2 p.m., and then the Sunday at 8 p.m.
We have Rumble going to check the shops in Elbon. Seems that he found a couple Cure 3s, which can be very helpful, especially if there are no healers. Because with no characters guaranteed, it means that you're not guaranteed to have someone who can heal you. But with 2 Canes, you could at least have a chemist who's throwing Cure 3s around as need be.
Definitely. And yeah, it looks like Moonblaze is making that trek himself right now. So both these two are going through with a little less of a strong party. I guess they're hoping for someone strong to be in this Evelon Cave itself to allow them to get through. Looks like Rumblefish only has 2 characters total, so this could be an interesting play.
He's living on the edge, but he is. Yeah, it's a good place to get a character and at least open up more bosses. Who knows? Maybe he's hoping there's a Mist Dragon somewhere around here, because we haven't seen him yet, so he could be underground still.
Quite possible. Looks like we have Cecil as the character here in the cave, with what looks like either the Baron Guards or the Kaipo Inn Guards in Rubicante spot. So one Cecil, they all started with an Excalibur. They're probably going to be pretty happy about that. Second off, that boss in that Rubicante spot is, if they have hourglasses, is going to be a free boss.
And I haven't seen if they sold it off or not yet, but I know a couple of them found that crystal helmet, so he at least has a decent bit of armor for a level 1 character if they kept that helmet as well. But most likely they sold it off because the crystal helmet seems to be worth more than its weight.
Yeah, and we actually do see Rumblefish equipping bow and arrows on Cecil first. What he's doing there is actually doing something called the back row glitch. What this does is it'll set Cecil to basically have a ranged attack, so we can actually put him in the back row from here and still get the full benefit of melee weapons.
And it seems that he also at some point picked up some crystal armor, which is going to be fantastic on Cecil. Which is great for this part of the game, but if he's planning to go with a physical strat, it's going to make it so that he needs the Avenger Sword to make Cecil berserk, which can cause an issue later on if that is the strat that he's going to go with.
That is true. We do see Rumble now kind of going back and opening treasures. He may be looking for the trap chest here, may just be looking for more items to make things useful, but Moonblaze has gone straight through towards the actual Rubicante underground spots. It does look like Rumblefish has found this Staleman chest, throwing an hourglass. So these trap chests, they can give you some decent experience to kind of get some levels if you want, but they also have a chance to just give you a really good item out of them on this flag set. So maybe hoping for something for Kane or just something useful at all, but we'll see what Rumblefish gets here and what Moonblaze gets right after.
Moonblaze is using Stop to keep the ogres from doing too much damage, and he may attempt to do a life glitch here. If he sets it up right, what that does is it allows you to kill an enemy, and there he goes casting life on the enemy who just died. You have a small time to do that, and the game revives the enemy, but since all enemies by default have 0 vitality, which is the stat that determines how much life you get back, they are revived and instantly killed again, thus doubling the experience you get for killing that enemy.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good strategy to get some more experience, especially with this low-level party as it is right now. This ogre fight can give you around 17,000 experience for your entire party if you manage to get all 3 life glitches off.
And that's going to be extremely helpful, especially considering they have Cecil, who right now is level 1. When he becomes a Paladin, he goes from whatever level he is to level 1. And since they just got him, he starts at that level 1. So this is going to be huge, getting him up and running as far as both someone who could absorb a lot of damage and deal a lot of damage because of those levels.
Yeah, and when you have a character with the flag set that is a vast majority under the average of your party, they do get, I think, either a double or a triple experience boost. So for MoonBlazeWolf, his Cecil's going to gain quite a few levels here, as you can see. Rumblefish did do the Staleman chest first, so as Cecil did get a few levels, he'll probably get less of a boost here. Getting only a Crystal Club for his efforts on MoonBlaze is good enough.
Yeah, the Crystal Gauntlet with the 19 levels he just got should at least put his Cecil in a little bit better of a position for the upcoming fights. He's got that back row damage, so I think he'll do pretty well with having a nicely buffed Cecil from that one fight.
Yeah, we do see Drcossack and PixelTamer kind of both heading the way into the Eblon Cave now, so everyone's kind of merging on the same point, though Pody is nicely buffed by having that edge, so seeing that Cecil, they're just going to get even more physical damage here. So.
And Pixel exiting out, deciding not to go down into the tower.
Interesting play. It looks like he might be going for the Eblon Castle for some levels in item. And that does look like it's the play. So there are 3 trap chests in this castle, and a whole lot of treasure chests that they can use to try and equip their characters up. This is decided that, yeah, doesn't have enough gear, doesn't have enough levels, and doesn't feel comfortable to be going through these higher level boss spots yet, so.
And there is a flag set, which there can be key items in those trap chests, but we are currently not playing with those flags, so he will not be finding any key items this seed doing that.
That is correct. And it looks like in the King and Queen Eblon slot, we actually have the Dark Elf. This is going to be even more easy by the fact that Cecil has an Excalibur. It's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the Dark Elf being weak to holy weapons and having an Excalibur, 7,000 damage. That's a good start.
Yeah, the even more free part about Dark Elf is in his second form, you can actually use an Hourglass to stop him. If you had access to the weak spell, you could get him to critical health, but not even looks like it's going to bother with that, just going to DPS through, as this spot doesn't have the most health. Oh, he is throwing an Hourglass as well.
And it seems that Rumblefish's Cecil took a bit of a nasty hit there, but he survived with 4 HP, so he's still got plenty of damage left on that, considering it's important for him to keep everyone up in this fight, since he has only 3 characters right now.
Yeah, and as for people asking, yeah, there hasn't been Bacchus Wines. The Moon shop was pretty bad. The Eblon shop did have Cure 3s, but that was about the best thing we found for kind of locked items. Looks like the Rubicante spot is these Kaipo guards. I'm going to guess another Hourglass, maybe some coffins are going to get thrown, and going to make pretty quick work of these.
An important thing to note, you see MoonBlaze using a coffin on the officer. That's because he is roughly 45% of the experience from this fight. So killing him first takes out about 45% of the total health pool from this boss spot. So it's important to kill him first so that you get the levels. Should you kill the 3 soldiers first, he will just run away and you lose that experience right off the bat.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go with a bunch of attacks on these soldiers that are oddly confused right now to take care of them, and he'll be getting down to the underground pretty soon here.
Looks like Pixel found one of the trap chests up in Eblon. He's just finishing off the ogre that happens to be in it, while Drcossack is fighting the 4 ogre chests down in the tower.
But yeah, it looks like MoonBlaze has made it through these Kaipo and guards, so now he can go to the underground. This is going to open up a whole bunch of different key item checks. There's the Land of Summoned Monsters and the 2 bosses there. There's Yang in his bed that you can check on him and go hang out with Sheila. She'll give you something. The Dwarf Castle is available, and they also all have this tower key that they got really early in the game, so that could be another enticing play.
And the tower key, important to note, has a boss spot that has very little HP. So for an underground check, while most people don't like to run all the way up there, at least if they do run up, they can get the double boss check. and it's not an exceedingly hard fight unless you get someone really nasty up there, such as a wyvern. That could change it, but.
And interestingly enough, as soon as you fall down here in this part of the tower, you can actually see who the boss at the top of the lower tower is going to be. I didn't see if Moonblaze checked. We'll see if Rumblefish decides to take a look at the boss spot here. And no, he does not move to the right to check that out.
I did not know you could see the boss from this spot, but that is an important thing that the runners may want to know, because it'll save them a couple minutes of running up and down the tower if it's someone who they don't think that they could beat right away.
Yeah, and we do see Moonblaze going directly to the Land of Summon Monsters. There is a chest here that just literally has a free key item. Check. It's not necessarily a key item. He does get a power robe, which, with a physical pody that he has, is going to probably be happy that it's a power robe and not something like, a drain spear maybe, but it's probably still would have rather had a key item.
I mean, for a free check, you get a decent item. Can't complain too much, but it's definitely not what they were hoping to see there. There's also, in the Land of Summon Monsters, or Feymarch, there are two bosses, which are normally Leviathan and Ashura, who each hold a key item. So you also do not need to challenge them in any specific order, whereas in the vanilla game, you actually need to challenge the Ashura spot first, and then the Leviathan. That's been removed.
It looks like Moonblaze just kind of checked some treasures, checked the shop. He did find sirens in that shop. Sirens are a very coveted item. They allow you to summon the rare encounter from wherever you're standing. And there's a couple spots in here that you can get some really high experience fights that are pretty free. It does look like Rumblefish has decided to go straight for this tower play. Using the tower key, it looks like he's found Mylon Z, relatively easy fight, relatively easy spot, so. Oh, and MoonBlazeWolf also finds Bacchus wines in, Tama? I always forget this town. But Bacchus wines, you cast them, they drink some wine and go berserk. Making a physical pody very useful.
And an important thing to notice is that Moonblaze does not have Cecil equipped with the crystal armor, which some of the other runners equip. Should they equip that armor, those Bacchus wines will do nothing to Cecil, because the crystal armor actually removes the berserk status.
That's correct. Looks like Drcossack has made their way to the second fight here, the Kaipo Ingodes at the Rubicante spot. Pixel's gone shopping a little after he's cleared out the Eblon Castle. We'll see if he feels strong enough to go through this through the cave now.
Doesn't seem that Rumble is coming back out of the tower. I don't know if he checked the second boss and decided not to do it, or if he didn't even check.
I think he's trying to see if this first spot might give him the adamant. Although he never did the Baron Inn to get the Darkness Crystal, so he knows he doesn't have a way up to the moon yet, but we'll see if he's trying to make a play to see if he can get some quick access to something else. It's like PixelTamer has decided it is time to go back to the Eblon Cave, gonna make their way to the underground, where Drcossack has defeated and will have access to that now.
That menu went by really fast for Rumblefish. I missed the item that he got, but if you look at Rumblefish, he is now using those sirens to get levels on his characters by summoning the egg, which is a very, very high XP grind spot for what he has access to right now. It is a fairly easy kill for him at his level, but he will be able to grind up a lot of levels really quickly.
It looks like he did get the Luca key from basically the Super Cannon Tower key fight. MoonBlazeWolf has decided to make his way to the top of the tower, finding the CPU. It could be an interesting fight considering he doesn't have any healers, and this spot has I think, a decent amount of HP, so... But he does have a lot of damage.
It seems that he is going for the strategy of taking out the defender first, so that there's not a constant healing being given to the CPU, which is that big one in the back. And as long as you have some form of healing, usually you can just tank the attacker's laser beam because it's just a percentage of your total HP. I believe it's 10% of your total HP. So as long as you heal once every 10 turns, you should be just fine.
That is correct. Yeah, his canes are jumping for decent damage. His Cecil is hitting for over 2k, so hopefully he'll be able to make pretty quick work of this. He might have to end up throwing some cure threes or something if he ends up taking a few more shots than he wants, but...
Making at low levels with not a high lot of HP, he seems to be making good use of those cure 2s that he found, which later in the game aren't going to do much, but also don't sell for a whole lot. Looks like also on Drcossack's screen there was Octomom and Dr. Luge hanging out in the Land of Summoned Monsters as the 2 optional bosses to fight there.
Yeah, the kind of interesting fights. The Octomom in that spot would probably going to one-shot any of his characters at this point with the high physical attack there. Dr. Luge could be an interesting fight, though that spot is very fast, so if he's not prepared, which it doesn't look like he thinks he is, it can take you in.
Moonblaze has taken down the CPU, and all that's left is that attacker, which he has just been using cures to tank through. Let's see what he gets for his effort, other than a couple levels per character. A Sand Ruby, so Moonblaze now has access to go get Sid if he does not want to have Edward anymore.
Yeah, that is quite possible. I mean, at this point, I doubt he's really going to bother kind of going to get Sid, even to replace Edward. Which is not really worth it in the long run. But we'll see. We do have Drcossack looks like making that same tower play. My guess is what a lot of these runners are thinking is they have access to the tower, which is 2 spots. If they could possibly get that pan before heading to the Sylph Cave, they can make one trek through there, kind of saving themselves some time. Sadly, it doesn't look like this is where the pan is.
And for those who may not know, the pan is an item that unlocks the ability to wake Yang up from his sleep in the Sylph Cave, which then grants you 2 key items. One is given to you by the Sylphs for waking him up, and one is given to you when you turn the pan to his wife in Fabool.
Yeah, the best part being, if you get that pan the first time you go there, she'll also give you the second item, which would normally be the pan, right then and there. Moonblaze taking care of that. Mylon Z in the Super Cannon, gonna get himself a Luca key for his trouble. We'll see where he decides to go with that. I guess Luca Key, Dwarf Castle, and the first Sheila check are still available. And the entirety of the moon. At this point, the adamant that everyone needs to create the crystal for Zeromus could be on any of our spots. The infamous Mist Dragon is still hiding somewhere. He might still be, in the CPU spot on the Giant, maybe, holding that adamant over. We could always hope.
Important thing to note is that we have the agility agnostic flag on, and as some people pointing out, Sid is extremely slow, so in the final fight, you may want an agility anchor, and him with a couple of runners found the cursed ring, he could really slow Zeromus down if they want to use, if they wish to use him as an agility anchor instead of Cecil, because that agility agnostic flag is on. Normally, no matter what, Cecil is the anchor for the way the game calculates turn order.
Yeah. We do have Drcossack finding that CPU fight. PixelTamer finally going into this Dark Elf into the Kaipo Guard spot. Rumblefish noping out of Octomom and Dr. Luge.
I can't say that I blame him.
And it looks like we might have Moonblaze making this Dwarf Castle play. So this is 2 bosses for 1 key item and a character check. At the levels he has by this point, it shouldn't be too difficult, depending on boss. Some bosses can be tricky in some spots. Although it looks like there is a evil wall behind that wall.
Seems Rumble's not going to be too far behind him, and with all the grinding Rumble did, he should have not much of an issue despite his lack of characters. He should also be able to make short work of the bosses should he choose to go after whoever it is that is behind the wall of walls.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of plays everyone makes, as we see, like, nobody has decided that it's time to make the moon play. Trying to kind of take care of all these spots on the Earth and Underground that are left open to them at the moment, so.
I don't know that all the runners have found the side either. So some of them may be trying to grind up these lower, or the underground bosses just to get a few levels to eventually make it to the moon. Rumble, I know found it, but I don't think the other runners found the sirens yet. They didn't all check the down in the lower right.
I believe everyone but Pixel has found the sirens at this point. We did see Rumble using a couple, I believe. Drcossack also used 1 or 2, so. The moon character was checked early on. It was the edge that Pixel and Drcossack both have. Moonblaze did not go to the moon to check, and Rumblefish hasn't even done the Baron in to get the Darkness Crystal yet, so that's still waiting for him to pick up.
Seems both Rumble and Moon are through the wall, and they now have, I believe that's the Baron guards?
Yep, this would be the Baron in guard fight, so 2 guards and a second Cecil to go with it. You know, get rid of that Edward now. I don't need him.
But all the runners are relatively happy that they already did Ordeal, because having a Dark Knight Cecil appear here would just be sad.
Now, Cecil is actually a powerhouse of a melee character. The only reason he kind of got, a little unliked before is that agility that we were talking about. Without that agility agnostic flag, Cecil is your agility anchor no matter what, but that's not the case now. Oh, I guess for Moonblaze it is, because he does have a Cecil in him.
It looks like Rumble is trying to use that second Cecil as an agility anchor because he killed him off before finishing off the guards. So it looks like he's just going to keep that Cecil most likely dead until he gets to Zeromus or find someone better to replace him, considering he's already done his grinding as well.
Yeah, Drcossack taking out that CPU, getting himself the Sand Ruby. Interestingly enough, I did see PixelTamer check that boss at the top of the tower, so he does know that the CPU is up there.
MoonBlazeWolf, for his effort, got the package, which opens up a character but no key item.
Well, there still could be a Mist Dragon hiding somewhere, so don't count that package out yet.
That's true. I forgot that the Mist Dragon has still been unfound.
Yeah, so not the item people are going to hope for. It does add to the key item count, something we have not talked about yet. Once you do get to 10 key items, every experience point you get is doubled. So the fights suddenly become worth more. Those eggs they were killing for 34,000 suddenly become worth 68. Looks like Moonblaze has decided it is finally time to go talk to a sleeping Yang and then talk to Sheila to see what he gets. We do have Drcossack leaving the tower with PixelTamer going up the tower.
It seems Rumble has decided to grind a little more. I'm not sure if he's level. I think he's trying to slingshot that Cecil that he just got with one of these 8 fights.
Yeah, it's quite possible. He may be powering up for a moon grind or a moon attempt. We'll see what he decides to do this year. He might be going to check that Luca key and wants to be able to fight the boss if he has to.
The Luca key is a always an interesting check because you can actually see the item before you have to fight the boss. So it's good to have a save right outside in case you need to reset out because the boss just isn't worth the item. And it also saves you a lot of walking.
That's if they remember to check the boss if the item is something they don't want. It is possible they see the item, reset, and not check that boss, and have it be the Mist Dragon. I've seen it before.
And that has happened at least twice. Hopefully nobody makes that mistake.
Looks like Sheila 1 only has a ribbon. Really nice helmet, but not a key item. And Moonblaze is just resetting, not even keeping that ribbon right now.
Moonblaze is going up to the moon. He's probably going to be very surprised that Edge is just kind of hanging out there waiting for him.
Yeah, and with the levels he has and sirens available to him, he could grind even some more. I'm betting he's going to start taking out some of these boss spots on the moon looking for key items. Drcossack checking out the job dwarf. I didn't actually see what it was, but there is a dwarf in that back room that just has a random job assigned to him, and he just tells you what it is every time.
I missed what the job was as well.
Does look like Rumblefish is back down in the Feymark. It might be that he's decided to fight Dr. Luge here and try his luck at one of these key items.
First part of this fight shouldn't be too much of an issue, but the second part is where things are going to get just a little bit hairy when he transforms.
Yeah, luckily the HP in the spot is kind of spread between the two different fights. If he can get the DPS down fast enough. The second phase is actually not too bad except for the laser attack, but with some life items and berserking and damage, he should be able to get through. PixelTamer making pretty quick work of this CPU fight, throwing out some Q2s to counteract the Mazer here. Drcossack taking care of that Dwarf Castle. And Moonblaze now finding Edge. See if he's happy about that or not, but I'm gonna guess he'll probably keep him for... Oh, getting rid of one of the Canes. I guess he's decided he doesn't... I don't think anyone has found a really good weapon for Kane at this point, so maybe decided that it's, Edge is more useful to him than Kane. With Valval's also being gone in this flag, it's not a bad play. Ooh.
Not at all. And later on, if he's gonna get levels, Cecil's gonna end up with a lot more health and can use most of the same items. So may as well have someone who can take a couple more hits. He's already got one fast person. He's gonna need, as much health as he can get without a healer.
Yeah, Rumble having a little bit of trouble with that first phase of Luge. A couple of his characters are down, but gonna use some recovery items and see if he can get himself into a reasonable state to fight. Whereas Moonblaze has started to descend the lunar subterranean. Let's see if he decides to use some sirens for some dragon fights for experience, or if he's going straight for these boss spots here.
Seems that Drcossack has used the hourglass on the guards, so he's just gonna have a fun time cleaning them up with Quake. Where Pixel has gone into the tower using the tower key to fight the Mylon Z fight.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of these runners have followed quite a bit of the same paths. A little bit of change with, some people checking the moon and not. At this point, for at least our 4 restreamed runners, it's still anyone's game. Do keep in mind, we have about 40 runners actually doing this race as well, spread across their own Twitch channels, so if you're looking for even more people to watch, they are. And it looks like Moonblaze has decided it is time to get some more levels here. So these dragons are worth way too much experience.
They are, I believe, the highest XP grind that you can do. The problem is that they have so much more health than the egg that if you don't have a high enough damage output, you're going to struggle to actually get them down.
Yeah, the purpose of this qualifier is basically we have 6 qualifiers and I believe 23 spots to fill in the league. So the top racers will kind of receive the positions in the league. There's a bit of math for kind of positioning and stuff. Ooh, Drcossack is decided using that package, finding himself a white mage and some interesting things to burn down the village.
Some sleepy guards, it looks like. And he's probably also hoping for that demist inside of the inn itself. But that white mage is really important right now because nobody else has found one. And it seems Rumblefish, after killing Uge, has got the Earth Crystal.
Yeah, so that opens up another key item spot and a couple character checks if that he cares. Maybe still looking for the white mage himself. It looks like Drcossack is going to go through getting Porm, white mage, and checking this boss spot. So we'll see what he finds here and if this was worth it. Looks like Rumblefish has
going back down. Oh, go ahead.
Just to say, it looks like Rumblefish has decided to heal up and go back for that Octomom spot. This spot's gonna hit quite hard. The one nice thing about this fight is if you can just get some hits in, he will slow down, but that is a one-shot to seize in the front row.
I believe it's every 3 hits he loses a tentacle, and every time he loses a tentacle, he also loses some agility, so he'll hit less. Using the illusion, since Octomom only does physical attacks, makes it so that he can't be hit, so it doesn't matter how fast Octomom is, as long as he just keeps pumping out the damage, he will be able to make this fight go pretty fast with Lightning 3.
Yeah, he has used some illusions to get the blink status. It's 3 hits for the first tentacle, and then every 2 hits after that. Drcossack did actually check the vanilla Mist Dragon spot, only finding the Antlion fight, so not the Mist Dragon, but looks like he's going to go check that Sheila 1 item, get himself a ribbon, and be on their way. Yeah, it looks like Rumblefish has kind of recovered his team, got everyone up, everyone's illusion, so he should make pretty quick work of this Octomom fight and get himself another key item check here. PixelTamer taking a look at those bosses and also turning around and running out. Looks like MoonBlazeWolf is heading for the D Lunar spot on the moon. So this is a vanilla D Lunars, interestingly enough. These will, if you basically physical attack them, they will wall and start, virusing off those walls and doing a lot of damage. If you use something like jumps or items or things like that, or spells, they will not. Looks like he is Starveiling up a couple of his characters, at least one. They will eventually try and toad your party, and you can reflect that back onto them and then make them pretty much useless.
Seeing 2 lunar frogs instead of lunar dragons is always a very entertaining sight. And it looks like Rumblefish is really wearing Octomom down to 3 tentacles. He is much slower than before.
Yeah, at this point it's just a matter of when he dies as he goes out right here, so he'll get himself another key item, hopefully here, and then be able to move on from the latest one. Nope, he just gets himself a ninja shirt.
And he does not have darkness crystals. He doesn't know that Edge is a thing yet.
And we have lunar frogs.
We have lunar frogs.
Yeah, So funnily enough, like being able to reflect that breath back onto them is quite hilarious. And yeah, now they're just gonna attack for one and basically do nothing and fall over pretty soon. Looks like PixelTamer and Rumblefish have decided Luca Cave is the thing to do now.
Drcossack is checking the Bahamut cave.
Drcossack is going for value.
Some say there's value there. We will see.
There is quite possibly value here. There's also quite possibly a waste of time, but you know, we'll see. It's one boss fight, relatively decent stats and HP, so. Looks like MoonBlazeWolf has taken out those D-Lunars now to get a pass and a Twin Harp. So the pass will allow him to go directly to Zeromus from Earth. The Twin Harp will allow us to get some sweet music and another key item.
And it would seem that Rumblefish is using the Earth Crystal, I'm guessing, to get some... No, he's going right to the Giant. Or Zot, I'm sorry. He's going to Zot.
I mean, he's the only one of our runners that actually ended up with that Earth Crystal. He may think that not many people might have done that, so going straight up there, there'll be 2 bosses, a key item check, and 2 character checks. Ooh, we found our Luca item. It is a spoon. We don't even have that flag on, so he's resetting out.
For those of you who don't know, there is a flag where you can allow Edward to equip the spoon and do an insane amount of damage. So we don't have that flag on right now, and that's why he's just resetting out. Did you happen to see who the boss was?
No, Naitu brings up a good point. He did not check the boss. So there is still a mystery boss in Luca Cave. MoonBlazeWolf finding the Elements fight. Generally, Elements fight is pretty easy fight. Taking it out, getting himself a Gunyo Spear. I think he got rid of his cane, so probably not too happy about that. Oh no, he does have a cane still.
Yeah, he got rid of the second cane, I believe.
Oh, I guess he'll be pretty happy. It's better than, I believe, something...
The Blizzard Sword, I think he had?
Something a lot weaker.
And that Rumblefish is seeing what's in the Magus spot there, which appears to...
Oh no, this is the Fabul Gauntlet. We've seen Water Hag. So, when you find the Fabul Gauntlet, it is the entire gauntlet. There was 7 fights to this. Luckily, he's strong enough that he's going to be able to take these out pretty quickly. But it's never a fun fight to find. It always takes time.
Pixel has jumped behind the Dwarf Castle to fight the wall and the Baron guards, so he will get a Luca... Oh, sorry,
a package and
the package.
Looks like MoonBlaze is going to continue to take out these moon bosses, heading down to the Ogopogo spot. Drcossack is up on the moon, getting himself some levels here. And Rumblefish is still in the gauntlet fight, because it takes forever.
MoonBlaze is challenging... He has found the Mist Dragon.
Oh, Mist Dragon on Ogopogo spot. This thing will actually do a decent amount of damage to his front row characters. Every 3 attacks it'll go into its mist phase, and then you don't want to attack it or it'll waste time. The cold mist doesn't really scale very well, so it's not going to do much damage, but it'll be interesting to see after he kills this Mist Dragon if he's going to, well, if he doesn't straight up get the adamant, if he'll return to Earth immediately to see if the Ridio's mother has, you know, the adamant that he requires, or something that might lead to it, like a rat tail.
And we see Dr. Drcossack going down to the lunar subterrane, seeing what he's gonna find there.
Yeah, it looks like he did get some levels. It looks like he's not going for that pale dim spot that's right near the beginning of the cave right away. We'll see who eventually decides to go there and what they might find. If a Rumblefish has made it through the gauntlet and found himself another Edward, I guarantee that's probably going to get left in the tower.
It'll most likely get left in the tower for whoever the other character is, unless it's another Edward. If I'm not mistaken, Rumblefish only had 4 characters.
Yeah, but there's going to be a second character here, so...
Right, so unless it's another Edward.
It's actually Rydia. I'd still say it's probably more useful than Edward.
Right, and that should be an adult Rydia, because he's done the Dwarf Castle, too.
That's correct. Also, if he finds himself an Ashra summon, Rydia can be used as like a healer for the final fight. So, probably not the worst pickup in the world, knowing that the only white mage we have seen comes from the package, which I'm gonna guess most people are not gonna check. Minus the one that already did. Yeah, we do see kind of Pixels cleaning up the rest of the things in the underground, going to talk to a sleeping Yang, probably find a ribbon, maybe heading to the moon after that point. Drcossack and MoonBlaze kind of trekking on these moon bosses. And we'll see what Rumblefish ends up doing here after having done that Earth Crystal. I didn't see if he got anything. Oh, he's supposed to fight the second fight. He's kind of using some of his items here. A couple of summons.
It looks like he was trying to get Rydia up to 25 MP, which will allow him to use Sylph, which is interesting because you need 25 mana to cast Sylph. It seems like he has found King and Queen Elbon, which is a free fight, so he will most likely he's just gonna damage them down because quicker than just waiting out the timer.
Yeah, at this point he's strong enough that DPSing the king down, the next action the queen takes will actually get rid of her once the king is dead. So a pretty easy fight, no matter where you find it.
And he will now have enough mana to use the Sylph Summon, which, although it says it costs 25 HP, or MP rather, it actually does not drain any MP upon cast, and is a minor heal to your party, so it can be quite useful, especially considering he does not have a healer. It's very useful to have a no MP heal that hits your whole party.
We have found the magma key. The Mist Dragon was holding it on the moon. So technically, this didn't have to be a hook seed. They could have come here and killed that before and not done the hook. Rumblefish has gotten the pan from that Earth Crystal, so he's probably going to go down and bonk Yang and go for those 2 key items real fast here.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the Earth Crystal guarded by Octomam or Luge?
Yes, Dr. Luge was holding that Earth Crystal, which then held the pan. Looks like MoonBlaze is going to go straight back to the Earth and look to see what that Mist Dragon unlocks for him with Rydia's mother. Drcossack has taken out the elements, gotten himself a spear for Kane, and will continue clearing these bosses on the moon.
Rumblefish giving Yang a little bit of a wake up with Pan. And let's see what he gets a Stardust Rod for that, but he can still turn that in to Yang's wife for a second key item. So he can still get the adamant from that pan.
Drcossack finding these vanilla D-Lunars here. Pixel was trying to check the free spots for the Mist Dragon. We know it's not the play now. Interestingly enough, Rumblefish still hasn't done the Baron in. He does not have a Darkness Crystal. Yeah, as we see, MoonBlaze has gotten a pink tail. We do have the no adamant flag on, so what this is actually going to give him is a random item from basically the high tier loot. Might not be worth his time to even potentially go a turn in, since it's just something random. Probably gonna head maybe back to the moon, or decide to check some of the things he hasn't done on the Earth yet.
Rumblefish turns in the pan to get a Leviathan summon, which makes Radia a little bit of a powerhouse when it comes to fighting bosses, and especially with that ribbon headpiece. She will be able to output quite a lot of damage and survive a bit better now.
Yeah, the rat tail will, or the pink tail will count towards 10 key items, which it looks like I think MoonBlazeWolf has now. So he will be getting double experience. And this has decided to go check on the twin hope that he acquired from the lunar fight that Drcossack is in.
And since this randomizer has a thing that the chat really seems to love, is when you go to fight the boss of the cave that MoonBlaze is in, you are going to get a random tune that can be quite a few different songs. So it's always very interesting to see what song plays.
And of course, because it's Edward, that song has been hopified. It looks like Rumblefish has decided it's now time to do the top of the tower. He was the one that came in here earlier, did the super cannon, and ran out. So we'll see what he gets. Well, you know what he's going to get. He's going to fight a CPU for his troubles. At this point, we're going to hear some music, so we'll let you hear what this is and then continue on from there.
I feel like I should know this one, but it's not coming to me.
This is totally randomized. It's hopified. Deal with it.
I knew it sounded familiar. I could not even think about it because it was the exact tune that you're pretty much supposed to hear. Just battle music harpified.
It's most likely, as said in chat, the QLEX Super Mario RPG version of the fight. Battle music. Looks like MoonBlaze has found Ubicante here. Makes pretty quick work of him. See what the key item we get from the Twin Hope is. A Dragoon Spear. I mean, a nice item, but... Oh, we have found Dark Knight Cecil on Wyvern Spawn, and a reset. So, Pixel... Go ahead.
Having Dark Knight seize out that Wyvern spot is a scary thing because you have to either be able to DPS him down or survive 3 of his Dark Waves without attacking him, which at that spot he's going to be doing a lot of damage. So it would be really hard to survive that without an insane amount of HP.
Yeah, after a few more levels, if you have some of those Cure 3 items, it is possible to just kind of throw a couple of those and live through the attacks, but where he is right now, Pixel nopes out of that fight and is probably going to go on to other boats of the moon. Looks like Rumblefish is fighting that CPU at the top of the tower. Drcossack's fighting that Mist Dragon that's going to get him eventually a pink tail and a magma key. And MoonBlaze on his way to get a spoon. Luckily for Moonblaze, he knows where the Mist Dragon is, so he can safely now reset out of this fight, or out of here, if he does not want that spoon.
Looks like Rumble is taking the CPU down, and Pixel is going after the elements fight up on the moon still.
Rumblefish getting himself that Sand Ruby. Gonna be a little disappointed. At this point, I'm wondering if he remembers that he hasn't done the Baron in. It's a relatively easy spot, especially with the levels he has, so. PixelTamer picking up that Gunyear Spear. Moonblaze about to be very disappointed. We'll see if we see a reset here. Yep, there's a reset. Alright. No spoon for MoonBlazeWolf.
Nope. It has to reset again because he loaded a save that was just inside the cave.
Well, at this point, Moonblaze has fought the Mist Dragon on the moon, so he knows that that boss is going to be nothing that's really required of him. When you don't want to keep the spoon, no reason to even check. Yeah, he reset out of the spoon that was in the Luca Cave. He already has 10 key items. He already knows where the Mist Dragon is, so... Looks like he's going to decide to go down to those two bosses in the Land of the Summoned Monsters. Get himself an Earth Crystal and probably follow that rabbit hole as well.
It looks like checking that first spot on the moon may end up being the play.
Yeah, so we are running out of spots. That Dark Knight Cecil on Wyvern spot, whatever's in Pale Dim spot, and I believe whatever's in Bahamut's cave are all that's kind of really left to us. You know, the Rat Tail's still out there, the Baron Key's still out there for them to discover, but we are quickly kind of running out of spots that these people can find their progression. Chat pointing out that an Edward can actually be used to great effect against the Dark Knight Cecil fight. If he just hides in the background and everyone else dies, the fight just ends, and you win. We have not seen the actual Odin fight or spot yet. No one's seen that. Drcossack getting his magma key from the Mist Dragon.
If the runners happen to find Baron Key, that'll open up two different key items, because there's one in the throne room where Kanazo normally is, and then there's the Odin spot, which is in the basement of the castle. But right now that is not accessible to our runners because nobody has found the necessary key for that.
I did see Rumblefish did check the boss on his way out of the Luca Cave, but he reset so fast I didn't actually see what it was. It looks like he might be deciding he did reset too fast and wants to go double check that it wasn't the Mist Dragon. Yeah, we have.
Looks like Drcossack is going to that Paladin to see who is there.
Yeah, so this is one of the few checks that we have left that we have not seen. We don't know the boss, we don't know the item, so this could be the key to progression. What do we have here? We have Golbez. Ooh. It's an interesting fight. He's going to start by summoning the Shadow Dragon, which is going to attempt to kill 3 of your party members. If he has that ribbon equipped, that'll protect him. And then he'll start slinging spells everywhere that are pretty powerful.
Luckily, he does have Starveil, so he can get Golbez to do a lot of damage to himself, which will definitely make his life just that much easier. And it looks like Rumblefish has decided to do the Baron in.
Yeah, he's finally come to the Baron in. I guess at this point he kind of forgot about it, and he's now going to be maybe a little disappointed when he sees the Darkness Crystal, knowing that he probably could have been there a while ago, but we'll see where he decides to go once he gets up to the moon here after this Valvos fight. Moonblaze has taken care of the Dr. Luge fight, gotten himself an Earth Crystal, going back for the Octomom spot. At this point, he's going to clear out everything wherever he is, just to maximize, his trips everywhere. We see Dr. Drcossack getting off these Star Veils to make Golbez kind of take care of himself, while Pixel's had a bit of a rough time in this D-Lunar fight, but he's making his way through it.
Moonblaze is trying to get off the boxes and the illusions to keep everyone safe from that high-speed, heavy-hitting Octomom.
Yeah, definitely. But again, like a few hits, he'll slow down, and getting those illusions up, he'll make pretty quick work of this with the levels that he has at this point. Rumblefish finally getting his Darkness Crystal. I'm gonna guess he's gonna beeline straight for the moon at this point.
Yep, it looks like Rumble is indeed making that beeline. Golbez is doing a lot of damage to himself, and then accompanied by that very high physical damage. It should not be too long of a fight for Doctor.
Definitely not. It'll be interesting to see what play Rumble makes. He may feel that he's behind now, having skipped that Baron and Darkness Crystal. We may see him go for something like that Bahamut spot right away. I think other people might have gone to the Lunar Subterranean for some levels. But we'll see what bosses he takes out. Looks like Pixel has taken care of the D-Lunars, gonna get himself the pass and the Twin Harp. And Drcossack has defeated Golbez and gotten a Rat Tail, which could still be the Adamant now.
Rumble has decided not to go to the moon.
Looks like Rumble is going to check the Octomom and possibly the Vanilla Demon spot, looking for that Mist Dragon before he goes up. I guess at this point, he figures he missed the Baron and he might be making sure he's not missing something else that might, make a quick work towards the end of the game.
And there was a Bahamut in that spot, so that means that he's not hiding somewhere on the moon cave.
He's going to find himself an antlion here in the Mist Dragon's vanilla spot.
And Pixel has moved on to fighting the Mist Dragon.
So he's going to pick himself up an ever so useful Magma Key, and then eventually possibly the Pink Tail. Looks like Drcossack is making his way down the moon now that he's taken out the Golbez spot. Not going back to turning that Rat Tail right now, which at this point could quite possibly be that Adamant that everyone needs. Moonblaze, having taken care of the things on the moon, on the Earth, has come back to the moon, and he's going straight for Cave Bahamut at this point. So I believe he's done the 3 lower bosses of the subterranean, having left after that Mist Dragon, and now he's deciding to do Bahamut, and then if that doesn't pan out, into the probably Pale Dim Wyvern spots.
Yep, Moon is just standing right outside of the Bahamut, so he very well may be making that play down there, figuring he's hit just about every other available.
And as a side note, we actually do have a first place finisher of the race. Off the restream, Error has finished in first place with a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 56 seconds. So GG to Error, puts him in a really good spot, most likely to enter the league. And congrats to him. Yeah, like
the mom bomb down in the Bahamut.
It's an interesting fight. You have to get him to a certain HP threshold, then he's gonna explode and split into other bombs. Looks like he's meleeing quite hard, but if he gets him to the second phase, he can also just hourglass. But looks like he's just DPSing down. But yeah, with that finisher again, we like to there are I think 43 entrants in this race, so this is a nice big race for the second qualifier for our league. The top runners from all the qualifiers will be making it into the top 32 and into the league play for our league, going into round of 32, into round of 16, into eventually a finals. So again, GG's to Error and GG's to anyone else. And actually, we have a second place finisher. Simbu has finished in second place with a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 35 seconds.
As you see, we have Rumblefish. He has decided to go after Golbez, and with Mom down, he gets the adamant. It seems that, indeed, there is value in Cave Bahamut.
Alright, so we know the path to success now. The adamant is there. He's immediately popping Sirens, so he's going to get himself a couple more levels to get himself ready to fight Zeromus. After that, he will return to the Earth, forge that crystal, and then use that pass to get to the final boss. Whereas Drcossack here has returned to Earth after that Mist Dragon, got himself a pink tail. Maybe a little disappointed. He might go and turn in the two tails now. Hopefully that rat tail doesn't lead to the Baron Key.
I believe that's actually all. I believe that the Baron Key... It has to be the Baron Key, because there's nowhere else he could get it from.
The Dark Knight Cecil on Wyvern could still be the Baron Key, as I don't believe anyone has taken that out on stream yet.
You are right. I forgot all about Dark Knight Cecil.
Yep, and there is the Baron Key. So there's another, as we now know, rabbit hole for him to kind of go down. Turning into the pink tail is going to get himself a glass helmet. Wow, that is the worst reward for a pink tail. As Chad's saying, apparently DKC gave the massive mune, so...
And we have Moonblaze heading back to Earth, and he's probably gonna just dip straight on in, get that crystal, and then go right up to Zeromus because he has the pass, so he doesn't even have to go back to the moon. He just has to pop over to Toria and talk to a man in the bar about that pass, and it's a warp right to that final fight. It cuts out a little over a minute of just walking around the moon.
Yeah, sadly, it looks like Rumblefish kind of took a dive to the Golbez fight, having to go back in the Lunar Subterrane, get rid of that edge again. But yeah, Moonblaze going straight to the smithy here. Probably going to go straight into the final fight.
And the special shop that only appears once you've assembled the crystal in this case has some pretty good items. You've got Artemis Arrow, Sorcerer Robes. He does not seem to have anyone who has a bow right now, but if he does, he can get someone to put out some high damage with those Artemis Arrows.
Yeah, it looks like he has thrown a curse ring on one of his Cecils. I'm guessing the one that doesn't have the Excalibur, put him in that middle slot, so he's probably going to be anchoring for his Zeromus fight coming up here in just a minute or two. We do see Drcossack. He's back on Earth, kind of going through all these motions. Gonna find a spoon in this cave, whereas Rumblefish is heading down this Lunar Subterrane, which we know leads to a whole bunch of rabbit holes. PixelTamer kind of doing the same.
Looks like Moon has decided to grind up a little bit more on the egg. Just there, a little bit faster to kill, and with his 10 key items, they'll give him more than enough experience to grind out.
Yeah, it's also possible because he does not have any sort of white mage. I don't know how many of the Cure 3s he has left from what he bought. He wants to get as much DPS as he can to basically not take as much damage in the fight to kill him closer. As for the question in chat, if you have multiple Cecils and no AA flag, what happens is there's a priority system. So it's the middle slot is actually slot 1, then the top would be 2, the bottom is 3, then the top middle is 4, bottom middle is 5. So the closest one to number 1 would be your anchor.
Moon is heading out of the underground. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he is going right for that fight. He's parking it right in Toria, and he's gonna take that pass there, and we're gonna get our first look at that lovely Z flag, which, for those of you who don't know, it randomizes the final sprite of Zeromus after he is changed.
Yeah, so one of our famous catchphrases here for going into the Zeromus fight is, whose butt are we going to kick today or tonight, depending on. Yeah, as the toothpick, yeah, it is a very, very open randomizer. You can set the settings difficult, hard, or like anything in between. There's many resources on the Discord that can help you if you're stuck, and many people that can also answer your questions in multiple chats. So it's a great community. Again, the link has been going up in the chat all over the place. Thanks, Scala, for that, and we'd love to have you to get into some races, even just for fun.
And Moonblaze at an hour 30 is into the Zeromus fight. And of our racers, he is the only one who has found the adamant yet. So he's the only one who even has the option of this fight right now.
Yeah. So as we're getting into this fight, there's a few strategies you can use for Zeromus. With the pody that we have, we're going to most likely be going with, a Berserker physical pody. It's what we have. It's probably what we're going to do. He may leave that middle Cecil open to throw Cure 3s since it has a coast ring. And wow, that is quite the sprite.
It is still Zeromus, just a different zero.
Yeah. So he's going to be boxing up his physical characters, which puts them in the Berserk stat, which makes them do a little more damage, and also puts their input in right away. We see him throwing a Silk Web. That's going to do a couple things. One, it's going to slow Zeromus down. Two, it's going to make him counter with a nuke, which does a lot of damage, but it's going to nerf the first big bang that comes out of him, making it do a lot less AoE damage to your pody. Very useful. It looks like PixelTamer has come into the Bahamut cave, so we know that the Mom Bomb's here. It's holding that adamant, so hopefully PixelTamer will be in go mode quite soon. Drcossack's kind of fixing up everything on the earth, and it looks like Rumblefish is heading back as well. So. We do also have a third place finisher. Peasants OMFG is finished in third place with a time of 1 hour 31 minutes 15 seconds. And a fourth place finisher has also come in. Flurry 14 has finished in fourth place with a time of 1 hour 32 minutes and 39 seconds. See one of the other strategies coming in from Moonblaze. He has thrown up a wall on his Paladin and is reflecting nukes off that wall into Zeromus. What this does is it allows you to get the magic damage in without that nuke counterattack from Zeromus coming back at your pody. And as we see, he's kind of throwing out these Cure 3s with Cecil in that middle slot to get some healing out, as he doesn't have a traditional healer in his pody.
And I don't know if you noticed, but Pixel reset out of the Bahamut fight. That is, he is not going to be happy when he realizes what that Mom Bomb was holding.
That is quite unfortunate for him, as we know that is where the true path to the end here lies. See how long it takes him to go back up there. It may be that he wants more Cure 3s here to be able to kind of heal his ponies. He might have to sell some stuff off to afford. Looks like Rumblefish is now going to that Baron. He turned in that rat tail from... This? I can't remember where the rat tail is from now. But he's turned that in for the Baron key and is now following it. Sadly, this will not lead him to what he needs. There'll be another character, a couple key item checks, but... we do see Moonblaze now has hit that Meteor phase. That means that Zeromus is at a low HP value, and with that flash, we do... So we had a couple other finishers while Moonblaze was finishing. DOG Vale finished in 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, 32 seconds. Pordrak finished in 6th with a time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 44 seconds. And then MoonBlazeWolf has come in 7th place with a time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 22 seconds. GG to MoonBlaze being the first of our restreamers to finish, and GG to everyone else that has, come in before him. And but a very well done Zeromus fight from him, using that middle Cecil to heal, getting some reflex off for a lot of extra damage, and just kind of going to town with Berserks. See, Rumblefish finding the Ashura fight here in the Baron Castle. At this point, it's going to be a pretty easy cleanup with the damage that his pony can do. And it looks like we are joined by MoonBlazeWolf, first of our featured restreamers to finish, our 7th place finisher with the race. GG Moon.
Thank you.
So yeah, what did you think of that race, and kind of that adamant kind of being available as soon as you had moon access in that Bahamut location?
Yeah, it's just that's a really kind of like lotto kind of seed, I guess, just because the way everything was very early and available, everybody was just looking for the adamant, and you just had to happen to be the person who found it first. So I'm pretty happy with how I played. I just maybe didn't get quite as lucky as I wanted, but I was progressing the whole time, so once I did find it, it was a pretty quick sprint to the finish.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it seemed like most of our runners took a few of the same actions, and Pixel and Drcossack went to the moon early to get an edge, but realistically, most people followed about the same routes, except for Rumble, who I think might have forgotten about the Baron Inn for a while with that Darkness Crystal. We were cheering for maybe a hidden Mist Dragon somewhere, but he was in the end of the moon, but kind of led you on a little journey when you found him.
Yeah, that was that's a little frustrating, just because that was the reason for leaving. I wasn't going to leave unless I found Mist Dragon, or I found the Pan and I found Mist Dragon, so I felt pretty much obligated to leave at that point, which just got me off track for a little bit. But again, I feel like I just tried to play it as efficiently as I could have and figured it out eventually.
Yeah, and overall, like, as you said, like, you were progressing pretty steadily throughout. It's just the few choices that you make that can, cost you time in a random.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking it was probably pretty safe to come down, just because when you went to the moon, and I didn't check the package character, but I'm sure everybody was hunting for a white mage, unless people were checking package and finding a white mage there. But because you wanted to start at the character check, generally people are going to kind of go down and clear that main area first because it's on the way. So I felt pretty comfortable skipping Cave Bahamut and some of the stuff on the top of the moon until I came back, but it's just got delayed a little bit that way, I guess.
Yeah, as it does turn out, that package character was a forum, so there was a white mage available in the seed.
Who needs white mages?
Yeah, you just need DPS. I mean,
yeah.
given that Excalibur right away, and you eventually got a Cecil, it might have taken a little longer than you were hoping, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I cleared all the way through. I knew everybody was going to have an Excalibur Cecil because you had to do the hook route. You had to go to Ordeals to get the hook, and Cecil is the hook character. So you kind of know that in the back of your mind. Like, people aren't going to have too much trouble clearing some of this unless maybe they start going sideways looking for a white mage, or just not maybe feeling as comfortable without one. So it's tricky. You just gotta kind of deal with what the game gives you in this format, especially with the character slots the way that they are, and go with what they give you.
Yeah, exactly. Rando's gonna rando, so you never know what you're gonna get. You just gotta follow whatever you think is gonna get you there the fastest. And sometimes that's just not the case.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I played well, and there's 4 more qualifiers, so just 4 more chances to move up, and everybody's playing really well right now. I've been doing a lot of the daily asyncs with folks, and I can just tell people are getting better. People are really practicing hard, and it's really cool to see some of those folks that I know are putting in a lot of effort qualifying for the tournament, or the league. So GG's to all of them.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to start getting practicing here soon because I am definitely out of practice. But GG's again. Any final thoughts before we?
Nope. Just thanks for everybody for staying up late with us tonight, and thanks for the restream team and the commentators. And we'll see you again later on this weekend.
Awesome. Yeah, it does look like Drcossack has found that adamant, is going to create his crystal, so he's hot on the tail to kind of finish this race up and get himself to Zeromus. PixelTamer and Rumblefish are kind of doing these last few checks on the Earth side still, so hopefully they get through these fast and can get back up to that Bahamut spot to get themselves that adamant to finish up. We do have a few more finishers that finished while we're doing that interview. So Mecha Link finished in 8th place, time of hour 37 minutes 43 seconds. Woo Bear finished in 9th place with a time of 1 hour 37 minutes and 55 seconds. Baka Shinobi finished in 10th with a time of 1 hour 38 minutes and 41 seconds. And in 11th place, Patiza 34 with a time of 1 hour 40 minutes and 43 seconds. So GG to all the finishers. Yeah,
it looks like we have Pixel going after the Fey March bosses. I mean, I believe Drcossack, since he checked that package earlier, is going to white mage.
Yeah, it does look like it might have been that he was trying to come here for a Sid. He did activate that package earlier and never finished the boss, so at this point he's finishing that put up, and might be he's looking to level the white mage, although I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Yeah, it is also possible that he's just going to grab Porm and use her as an anchor for the Zeromus fight.
Also not a bad play. Looks like Rumble is just leaving Baron now, having found not what he was hoping for.
Definitely, and yeah, I do not believe we have found Wyvern in any spot yet, so he could be hidden in the giant, or I think one boss does not get placed somewhere. And Drcossack getting here, picking up some silk webs as well that he might have known were there for the last boss.
Rumblefish is making that dive to go into the Tower of Zod.
I believe he already did the tower.
I thought he did.
That's where he got the Rydia from, in the pan, so looks like he's just going into the shop here. Maybe wanting some more hourglasses or something. But we do have Drcossack now heading into that Zeromus fight, so we'll see how he handles this one with the pody that he has. And At this point, I guess I'd like to put out a shout out to our restream team as well. So, Charasu doing a wonderful restream here, making it so you can see everything here. Maggie the cat on our tracking for all our key items, and TowerSheep here for doing commentary with me.
Thank you as well for doing the commentary, and thanks to both Maggie the cat for tracking and Kiarasu for actually restreaming it so that we have something to look at instead of trying to track down all different streams. So this is right now it looks like we have a Zeromus fight starting for Drcossack, and it does appear that he is just using that.
It looks like he didn't even take the Porum, so just going in with the Pody he had before. Might have just wanted those silk webs and forgetting that he activated that package cutscene earlier and had to go through it to get them, but we'll see how he handles this fight.
Because Rumblefish is looking for items, checking the Damingway cave.
Yeah, we'll see where Pixel decides to go now that he's picked up. I think he picked up the Oath Crystal and possibly the Tails. Oh no, he has the bounty already. So it looks like heading towards that Oath Crystal spot, possibly the Twin Hub spot as well.
Rumble is diving into Cave Bahamut, so he will be getting his adamant soon, hopefully.
As long as he doesn't reset out of the Mom fight, he hopefully will be picking up the adamant soon and being on his way to being able to get to Zeromus. We do see Drcossack in his fight, kind of throwing some items on that he didn't equip before. Throwing a Drain Spear on Kane. Interesting. I saw him doubting a few things with the edge as well. I'm not sure if he picked up Bacchus wine. He has a couple Bacchus wine. Let's see how he decides to go about the rest of this fight. Bumblefish in this Mom fight, killing off the middle Cecil and kind of throwing up some illusions here. So. Taking a lot of damage from these physical attacks. This spot has a quite high physical attack slot for normally a boss that doesn't do any physical attacks. And we do see PixelTamer now in the Fabul Gauntlet fight in the Oath Crystal, Oath Tower Zod. Gonna be eventually disappointed in what he gets.
And it would seem that it seems that Drcossack does not have silk webs or ran out, but he is doing a secondary way to nerf the Big Bang where you use the crystal to attack Zeromus, and it will cause him to do that same nuke pattern, which will lower his magic damage for when the eventual Big Bang comes. So that since he doesn't have White Mage, it's very important to nerf those.
Yeah, it's definitely an alternate strategy, though timing it can be a little tricky. Looks like he took a lot of damage there, so gonna have to do a little bit to recover, and I think all of his current characters are berserked, though this black hole will remove that status from him now.
That is a lucky black hole if I've ever seen one. Give him a chance to pick everyone back up before that next Big Bang comes out.
Exactly, yeah. See if he does have. Looks like he's just Bacchusing up right away, trying to go for a DPS strat. I'm not sure if he has any cure 3s or anything to really kind of cure himself up. It looks like he's throwing that crystal again and just kind of hoping for the best with his Kane with a drain sword.
And the nuke does go on to someone who he probably did not want to go on to. The Cecil had the crystal sword, which was doing, or had a holy sword, which was doing 3k damage a hit, whereas his Kane that just went down was only doing 2k a hit. hopefully his remaining king can keep that Bacchus going and keep draining enough health to stay alive.
It might be over here with this direct nuke decaying. He might decide he wants to get a few more levels or maybe try a different strategy here, but gonna take an unfortunate wipe to Zeromus here, as Rumblefish also took an unfortunate wipe on the Mom Bomb fight after getting the explosion off. Didn't have time to get a Hourglass out to stop the little bombs and kind of ran out of health on his characters. PixelTamer kind of going through this tower, seeing an Edward, gonna see a Iridia, gonna grab a Pan, I believe, and then probably follow that to Sadness. And then hopefully gets back up to that Mom Bomb in Bahamut's cave pretty soon.
Pixel is missing both his second Edward and the Iridia from the Tower of the and now he is left to fight the King and Queen. So once again, that's just a free fight for him, but unfortunately with the free fight, he's not going to get much value.
Yeah, it looks like Drcossack has kind of headed into the castle here, hoping for some items to make his party a little stronger. Looks like he found a slight upgrade of a weapon for Kane and a shield, but not anything that's really going to change from his strategy before. We'll see if he's just going to head straight back into this fight and give it another try. If he remembers that Cure 3s were in the Eblon Cave, he might be able to go back and grab some of those to try and do a little bit of healing mid-fight.
It looks like after throwing out a bunch of his inventory, he may not even have the money for too many of those, so he could just realize that and just be choosing to skip purchasing things because of a lack of funds.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, it's very possible to do the fight with the party as it is. It's just gonna, if he wants to nerf those big bangs, he's gonna have to time his either crystals or silk webs properly and get the damage in before Zeromus can take him out.
And an important thing to note is that after 3 big bangs, that's when you saw that direct nuke. He does not continually do big bang. He will throw out a nuke and then go back to doing another 3 big bangs and then a nuke in that cycle. So even if you do manage to survive the big bangs, he will eventually roll on his own.
Oh no, unfortunately Rumblefish, not able to do that Mom Bomb fight again, has decided to go back down to this lunar subterrane to take care of some of the spots that he has not done yet. Gonna get himself some more levels in the process, but obviously kind of wasting a bit of time. Whereas we see PixelTamer taking that Pan now down to Yang, gonna hit him up and get, I believe, a Leviathan summon and something equally not great from the Sylph Seer.
I believe it was a ninja shirt? The Stardust Rod.
Yes, a Stardust Rod and eventually the Leviathan summon. So, again, not the things he's looking for. Nice items in their own right, but at this point, he's hoping for that adamant.
Stardust Rod can at least be somewhat useful should he choose to do it. As Moonblaze did, will give his Palom a little bit more magic damage.
We see Drcossack back in this fight. He did get his first, I guess, Silk Web or Crystal out. I didn't see to know if that first Big Bang. Got his Bacchus Wines going on a bunch of his characters. And going to be trying to get about as much damage as he can out, hopefully just phasing Zeromus before he can really take him down. Rumblefish has found himself this Dark Knight Cecil spot. I think it's going to do quite a bit of damage to him in a second, but we'll see where it leads to. Looks like he's gonna take an unfortunate wipe to this Dark Knight Cecil.
Yeah, it seems like the game was trying to give him a hint with all those had to keep one in if you want to try to fight. That is a lot of damage he's putting out in a short amount of time.
See, Drcossack kind of taking the same approach MoonBlaze did. Starveiling up his form, probably going to start reflecting some spells to get some extra damage in. Hopefully he can do it before this next big bang, as I don't think he's nerfed this next one, so we'll see how this goes. Fish taking another unfortunate wipe on Dark Knight Cecil. We'll see if he kind of keeps throwing his head against this, or looks like he's changing his battle speed.
Crystal to try to nerf that big bang, hoping he gets that off in time.
Yeah, it's quite possible he threw off the Star Veil, even hoping that this counter nuke will go off that Star Veil and hit Zeromus himself. Which it did not. PixelTamer taking the next rabbit hole into Baron Castle. Gonna fight a couple bosses and get nothing for his troubles. Rumblefish finding himself some vanilla D-Lunars. We'll see how he manages to make work of these here.
Should not have too much of a problem, especially considering his high level of nukes that he had.
Yeah, unfortunately for Drcossack, I'm not sure how well this fight is not going too well for him at this point. Kane with very minimal health left, about to get nuked and take him out again. It can definitely be a difficult fight if you're not used to doing it without healers. I mean, at this point, he doesn't have that many healing items or anything as well.
Did his screen freeze, or is he still trying to figure out what he's gonna?
Unfortunately, it looks like Drcossack has just forfeited from the race. So it looks like he's decided, with all the people that have finished ahead of him and him having so much trouble with Zeromus, not feeling up to finishing right now.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, it does happen sometimes if you're having so much trouble and don't feel like you have the effort to continue on. It might be late at night for him as well. Still a GG to him. Thanks for racing with us. Unfortunate that it does happen, but there's still 4 more of these qualifiers to go, so hopefully he can get into one of those and get himself going.
Do you want to take this time while we're seeing some repeat, kind of explain how the qualifiers work for those who may not be aware?
Sure. So again, this is the Highway to the Zemus Zone, like 2 league qualifiers. The point of these qualifiers is the top racers, statistically from across all 6 of these qualifiers, will get themselves into the official Highway to the Zemus Zone League. We will end up with a pool of 32 players. We have some auto qualifiers from the last league we ran, and then those 32 players will get put into basically 4 rounds of runs that we'll have a point system for each placement in those runs. After those placements, we will cut to a top 16 with a couple play-in matches, and then again from those 16 we'll get more teams of 4 to play off and play on until we eventually get to a final day that has a winner. Just basically a lot of matches for everyone's enjoyment and a good competition for people that get in. Dr. Cossack, that's unfortunate. The Cure 3s were in Evelon Cave. But yeah, along with this league, like even if you don't feel as competitive enough to be in the league, you can still sign up and get into the next qualifiers, or you can just join the Discord server. There's races going on all the time. There's async races you can just join, pick up. You can just generate your own seeds, play them as you will, share them with the rest of the Discord, and talk about them with everyone. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of resources, a lot of great community members that will help you out anytime you want. So come on in. It's a good time.
So for those of you who may not know, just a little fun fact, the reason that this is called Free Enterprise is because that ship you get at the very beginning is called the Enterprise. It does not have anything to do with business.
That's quite right. Yeah, looks like Rumblefish has finally killed those D-Lunars. Gonna give himself a nice chunk of experience for one thing. A couple key items, but making some progress. Hopefully he gets back to that Bahamut spot before too long. My guess is PixelTamer will quickly be getting to back to that Bahamut spot once he finds that none of these barren places have the crystal the adamant he's looking for.
The only upside to doing Baron is that they get a crystal sword, so at least their Zeromus fight will be that much easier. The strongest sword you can get, Cecil.
Yeah, it's definitely a bonus, and if you do have multiple Cecils, you can, throw that Excalibur down to one of the other ones.
Looks like Rumble is going back to Earth to try to figure out what to do. Maybe pick up a couple items to help him.
Yeah, he just picked up the Twin Hub as well. Maybe deciding D-Lunars is a relatively popular spot to go, with people having finished a little bit ago now. Maybe thinking that people got up there, got that Twin Hub, and has decided this might be the play. This might be where that adamant was hiding. And it looks like we have a actual double Twin Hub check going on at the moment.
Well, I mean, it's got some randomized music. I mean, I like the music, but I'm not really sure you could say it's too random at this point.
I mean, it's technically from a different game, even though it's based off this game. It works. It's random. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I like it. I'm not going to complain.
I'm having difficulty remembering what was even in this cave, but I guess music is the reward here.
I feel like it was something, I forget what it was too, but it was reset out of also a thing that happened. And you see there Pixel using the virus on his Paladin because you come back with full health, so it's better to let him die and just get the fight because he wasn't held and he has to die in order for the next part of the thing to trigger, next part of the fight to trigger.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little faster. Well, it's quite amazing that at this point, 2 hours and 3 minutes in, we have our two featured runners at the exact same spot.
And they both took very different paths to get there, which is the really interesting part.
Yeah, Bubblefish showing us that this is indeed the QLEX theme from Super Mario RPG. The little harp giving you the information right there. I mean, at this point, both of our runners are going to make very quick work of this Rupicate. Get themselves the, I think chat was right, I think it was a Dragoon Spear here that they will probably keep for their cane, if they have one, which I think they both.
Yeah, they both have at least one. Do you happen to know how many people are participating in this specific qualifier?
I believe there was about 43, and as of this point, we have 24 finishers. So we have just under half of the participants still going strong in the race. Both of our racers leaving with their newly found Dragoon Spear. I believe the moon stuff is all these two runners have left, so
They could go to the giant if they think it's there.
I mean, PixelTamer has fought the Mist Dragon, so he knows it's not the giant. I don't know. I don't think Rumblefish made it down that far. I believe he got the Twin Hub from the D-Lunar spot and bailed out of the moon.
I believe that's what he did.
So, PixelTamer, I believe this is his last check going to that Bahamut cave. Probably going to be a little angry that he kind of left this earlier, but hopefully he'll be getting his adamant here soon enough and then on his way to Zeromus. We'll see where Rumblefish decides to end up, but hopefully it's not too long before he heads into that Bahamut cave himself and gets himself that adamant. Alright, PixelTamer back in this bomb fight. Character's doing a decent amount of damage. See if we can get him to that transform phase and stay alive. Looks like
Rumble is also going down there.
Yeah, it looks like Rumblefish has decided this is the play. This is where he's gonna go. He knows what's here. He tried to fight it before, so. No, Mage, there are 6 qualifier runs for this league, and I believe 23 slots to fill, so an average of almost the top 4 will make it. There's gonna be some finicky math that we put through to get an actual scoring system, but coming top 3 probably almost guarantees you that you get in, but again, just do the best you can in the qualifiers, and if you get in, you get in. If not, there's going to be more of these leagues. There's going to be more races. There's always things going on. And PixelTamer has gotten his adamant. Official go mode for PixelTamer.
He will have gotten every key item. So, if there was an achievement to unlock, he would get it for sure.
Yeah, that is true. We did see Pixel kind of skipping that explosion on Mom Bomb. I believe his AI said that once he gets down to 10k life wherever he is, he will do that explosion, build up, and transform. If you can do enough damage, you can just skip that phase entirely. See PixelTamer just kind of popping a couple of these sirens here. With no healer, probably want to get as much damage out as possible to skip as many of those big bang phases to get straight to the Zeromus Flash. And GG, now Rumble has his adamant as well, officially in go mode, probably going to do the same thing as Pixel, get a few levels here, and I don't know, just exiting straight out. Might end up grinding on eggs or something else, or maybe feels comfortable going with the body he has.
Yeah, he does have the double Cecil, I believe, in which case he's got a lot of DPS with the Excalibur and the Crystal Sword, so he may just feel like popping some boxes and just going straight at Zeromus. It will be a interesting divergence to see who ends up killing Zeromus first, because it looks like we have two different strategies. One where we have Cecil at a low level in the middle slot being that agility anchor, and we have for Rumblefish, and then for PixelTamer, he seems to be going and getting everyone just really high levels to just put out an insane amount of DPS really fast, hoping that he could just beat Zeromus with all 5 characters and do it quicker.
We also have a slight divergence in party. Rumblefish has that Iridia as well, so no edge on Rumblefish's side. Be interested to see if he does try and go straight for what kind of strategy it might do. A little bit of a hybrid strat with reflecting some spells with a couple Berserkers, whereas PixelTamer is almost in a full physical state with a Paladin there to maybe reflect some spells.
And it's also important to know that casting, you do not want to cast a summon on Zeromus, because he will repay you in kind with some pretty nasty spells. And considering he doesn't have Ashura, Iridia cannot be used too much as a healer.
Yeah, and it looks like Rumble has decided he does need a few more levels. He might try and grind to the point where his casters get nuked. Looks like Palam's pretty close. I'm not sure how long it's going to take the Iridia from this point, but we'll see how far he decides to go with these levels.
Luckily, he does, as you mentioned before, have those 10 key items to increase the amount of experience. You can see instead of the normal 34,000, he's getting 68,000, so that'll literally half the amount of time it's going to take him to get his team up to snuff. And it looks like that agility anchor Cecil that I mentioned, like he's keeping him just above the threshold of a nerf Big Bang.
Yeah, so it's possible if he has any of those Cure 3s left, he can do a little chemist work with Cecil while damaging with the rest. PixelTamer himself picking up his crystal here. With popping those few sirens in Bahamut's cave, I'm gonna guess he's heading straight for the fight at this point. Does look like that is the case. Heading over here, gonna save up and use that pass to get straight into Bahamut. into Zeromus Bahamut. Bahamut is where the adamant was.
And a little known trick for those who play the vanilla game just casually, or just got into this, you'll notice that there's only one tile to land on right outside. But if you hit the sprint button, whatever you have that set to, you will when you're in the ship, since that's by default set to sprint, you will actually go one tile at a time, so it's much easier to land at Toria. It's a little trick to help you land there on such a small space, because otherwise you end up flying 2 tiles at a time, and you could easily just spend a couple minutes just passing it over and over again.
Yeah, and if you're a new runner, it is possible to get the red airship stuck in that spot. There was a bridge added a little bit to the south where you can land, so you can get back to that town if you really need to. PixelTamer now using the pass, gonna enter a Zeromus fight here. You saw him move that Zeus gauntlet to Cecil, put the coastering on them for a second, but I guess decided against that and probably just gonna go to town with that. Cecil's probably gonna be doing 6,000 to 7,000 damage with the equipment heat.
And the thing that you won't see out of this team that they have now, because they both have very physical teams, but Zeromus, about halfway through the fight, when he gets down to a certain threshold, will actually refill his health. But if you're using any kind of strat where you bounce magic off of walls and not directly attack him, that does not trigger that script, so you can essentially avoid half of his life if you correctly time that, or if you just have an all magic team.
Yeah, and we may see something like that from Rumblefish's side. If he grinds both these mages up to nuke, he may decide that he's going to go for that reflected strat and maybe doing a little bit of chemist work with his physical characters instead of going for the berserk route. I think I've seen most of the runners that have come in here after finishing this race ask Galacada where this sprite is from. And the answer is Schoolhouse Rock. Yeah, if you do like the sprites and the play, like, there are, I think, what is it, over 350 or 400 sprites by now in the pool. I've lost count, and there may have been more added since I last known a number, so there's quite a few of them in the pool to enjoy once you get to Zeromus.
Another fun flag that we actually have not mentioned, but if you notice on Pixel, he has a gold king. If you have that fab flag, and you have, even if you do not have repeating characters, you can get characters with just alternate colors. So if you're playing a run where you only want each character to appear once, you can still have very interestingly colored characters as long as you use that fab flag. It's just a little bit of fun, doesn't actually change the game at all.
Yeah, and we have Skullakitty to thank for a vast majority of the Zeromus sprites, and I'm pretty sure all of the fab sprites. There's a few Zeromus sprites that Boardface, the developer, has put in himself. And he also does all of those lovely Twin Hope songs. It's like Rumblefish has decided he's grinded enough. Maybe going to Eblon for Cure 3s now to use that chemist strat. And then probably going to head into the fight himself.
Pixel taking a pretty nasty unnerfed Big Bang, and then too late on the crystal, which is going to end up causing him to take an unnecessary nuke that won't nerf the next Bang. It's just a little bit too early for that. The ideal timing to nerf a Big Bang with either Silk Web or the crystal is when you hear that rumble and the sprite shakes just a little bit. That's how you know it's time to use that silk web right between that shake and the big bang going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have him slowed, the timing can be a little tricky, especially if you have him at some random agility value or something. But he's getting his characters up, throwing out some heals, and just trying to pump in as much damage as he can here.
And Rumble looks like he's probably going to fly right up north, right to Victoria, and get this fight underway.
Looks like with a bunch of Cure 3 throws, Pixel should live through this Big Bang even unnerfed, and be able to keep throwing out a bunch of these Cures to keep his damage going at this point. Unfortunate that at this point he's kind of having to use that Cecil that has the Crystal Sword Zeus Gauntlet for curing, but keeping himself alive is definitely more important right now.
And that black hole for Pixel will end up giving him a little bit of time to tier 3s with some other characters before his lines. So that should actually help him out just enough to get him back up to the ability to finish this fight off.
See Rumblefish now entering his fight. We'll see if he's going to go for that reflection strat with his double mage team over the kind of berserk physical strat with HP refill that we see on Pixel. We saw from Moonblaze as well. When we do see Falling Rocks Meteor Phase, so that does mean Zeromus is at a low HP now, and a few more of these physical hits, we will see that flash for Pixel's GG.
That is a GG right there.
There it is. So PixelTamer, third streamer, finished in a 33rd place with a time of 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 27 seconds. Definitely a GG to Pixel, and for him to stick it out and get through to the end there. We are joined by PixelTamer here. GG Pixel on the finish of the run.
Hi. I forgot the golden rule and I paid the price.
Happens to the best of us.
There is always value in Cape Bahamut.
I feel like most of the time that golden rule lies to us, though. But yeah, no, we definitely noticed you went in there, kind of, I think, died once quickly and kind of left it till later, which again ended up being the exact wrong move for going through.
Yeah, I thought there's a few new checks that have opened on the surface, and I hadn't done the bosses in the Fey March. I thought I'm more likely going to be able to succeed against those, so I'll come back and deal with Mom Bomb in a bit. And then it was getting to the point where it's like, I have long checks on the surface, or I have moon bosses, and I just didn't want to make that third trip to the moon if I could avoid it.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, early on in the seed, like, I think most of our runners were taking relatively the same route. I believe you and Drcossack were the only ones that actually grabbed that Darkness Crystal and did an early moon check, which got you that edge character. Maybe a little nice, but it turns out this is a pretty heavy physical character seed.
Yeah, but I didn't find any weapons for Edge, so I used him as a chemist of all things, which is weird.
I mean, you gotta do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, from what we saw, I believe there was one white mage in the seed. You did have to activate that package to get it, but then you'd have to go through the package. So.
Yeah, I checked package. I thought it was a Paladin.
It was a Porum, so it would have been a white mage.
Ah, well, mistakes were made then.
I mean, you still made pretty quick work of that Zeromus fight. I mean, even with the Canes attacking and, just kind of chemist moding it up, it went pretty decent.
Yeah. Haven't had a lot of practice with chemist percent seeds before, so I learned something.
That's definitely something you gotta keep in the back of your mind for these no character guaranteed seeds. You might not always get the preferred party that you want. Kind of gotta make do with what you get, but I mean, all in all, you kind of continued through. Had a little trouble with a couple bosses now and then, but I mean, obviously, you just ended up making the wrong decisions and finding that adamant last, which what Randomizer is going to do to you sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like I didn't make a whole lot of mistakes other than the order in which I went after things.
No, definitely. But like I said, you toughed it out. I think I guess technically went 18 for 17 there. Abandoning the spoon, but you don't need.
Yeah. Without the spoon flag, didn't feel like it was worth doing the trek back.
No, definitely not. I mean, GG for making it through and getting to the end and finishing the race. I'm sure we'll probably see you in maybe some of the other qualifiers as well coming up.
I'm gonna be playing on Sunday, and I'm gonna try and get some of the other ones in if I can work around it.
Well, good luck to you on that. And hopefully we see you in the league coming up. If
that would be great. Fingers crossed.
Thanks. On another side note, our last restreamer, Rumblefish, has finished in 35th place. The time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 21 seconds. Definitely a GG to Rumblefish. We did see him with reflecting a bunch of nuke spells with that Rydia and Pelham. Again, GG to all of our featured streamers. Tough break for Drcossack. Got there and wasn't feeling up to it at the point, but I mean it happens sometimes. And Moonblaze were getting through pretty quickly, and all of the rest of our streamers for finishing. I believe there's still about 10 people left in the race, so if you do want to see some more, there is definitely some people to go out and see. Make sure to give all of our runners a follow. There's going to be plenty more races, and everyone's going to be participating.
Once again, we'd like to thank our restreamer, our tracker, and I'd also like to thank Khobahi for really doing a great job with the commentary.
I think right here we.
Good morning, Rumble.
Good evening or good morning, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, GG on finishing the race. One question I have to ask, did you forget that you didn't do Paladin?
No, I thought that everybody would be doing it, so I might as well just, go, just skip it. I thought that once I got the hook, I was like, okay, this is going to be a hook seed. And so I took my chances on that. So, I don't know. That probably was my detriment actually, because that was what was needed to get to the adamant. So, I just skipped that because I just kind of felt like I could proceed without it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I knew it was going to be one of the two. Like you might have figured, finish everything you can while you can, and then go back later. But it turns out that adamant was hiding in Bahamut cave and kind of just a bit out of your reach at the.
Yeah, just a little bit. It was very frustrating that once I finally did go to the Baron Inn to get the darkest crystal and then get to the moon, I fell down some rabbit holes that really ate up a lot of time. And then when I had the right path, I had 2 wipes to the mom bomb there, This is definitely, I kind of predict that this Z score is not going to get me into the, it's not going to allow me to proceed in the league, unfortunately.
Probably right, but I mean, there's still 4 more qualifiers for you to run in, so.
Right, that's that. And then my run earlier this week, I got 9th place, and so maybe that'll hold up. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know with the way the scoring goes, but I mean, GG's for still finishing and making your way through all the seeds and everything. You got any final thoughts on the seed or on the league?
Well, I just I mean, it was. I guess I gave you guys kind of a world tour, so I'm glad that I was able to show off for you a little bit. I guess on my restream. That's what I have to say about it. I mean, yeah.
This seed definitely had, and it even showed for a couple of our runners, the opportunity to show kind of what the randomizer can do. Like, you can make all the decisions you want, but in the end, the randomizer is going to put the path to the end where it wants. Sometimes that's just not where you go.
Yep, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
All right, well, thanks a lot for joining us, and thanks again for being restreamed, and good luck on the next qualifiers that you participate in.
Thank you much.
Good luck, man.
And that's going to be it for us. Again, thank you to Tarasu for restreaming, Maggie the Cat for the tracking, TowerSheep for commentating with me, and all of our featured runners, and all of our non-featured runners, and the admin staff, and everyone for putting this together. I believe at this point, we are going to be sending everyone off and rating one of our good friends and the winner of the last I would do this.